Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 591. I'm Bryan Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by superstar fantasy author, amazing self-audiobook recorder, great author who sells direct and does all sorts of other things, Katie Cross. How are you, Katie?
So good. I'm just so excited to be here.
Good. I'm glad you're here too. We had to face down family and life and everything to get here, and now we're here. You and me and Rocket the cat are having a great time. I've we've referenced things you've done in the author community, and then you haven't even been on the show. I don't know what we were thinking, but it's 11 years too late. Mistake that we're fixing.
No, this is the perfect topic for me. You were just waiting for this perfect topic.
Okay, you're right. We were waiting to talk about audio. We were waiting for it. Last year, I feel like I didn't know this until last year when we hung out in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know until then that you every month have audio and ebook. You had those out to your super loyal fans.
Mm-hmm.
You record. Is this the room that you do the audio recording into?
This is the closet that I record in. Yes.
This is the closet. This is the high end closet, $1 million closet that you record in. I mean, it's tough because I cannot advise people, hey, go be like Katie and record an audiobook every month, because half of them would self-destruct.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just so amazing that you do this. How did you decide, no, this is what my fans are going to get every month? They're going to get audiobook, ebook every month, like it is a subscription service. How'd you come up with this?
Sorry about my dog's barking.
Don't worry about it. Look,
okay.
We've dealt with worse. We've dealt with worse. No.
They'll stop in just a sec. But so how it came about was actually my readers. They were telling me that they were frustrated because the audiobook came out at unpredictable times. They loved audio and it made it hard to follow me and support me because they never knew when or if the books were coming out. I had a whole library of books that had no audio.
Yeah.
And a bunch of them kept saying, you should do your own audiobooks. And I was like, that's never going to happen. But then I saw the audio market doubling end over end year after year, just massive growth. And I was like, oh man, there's serious money on the table with the back catalog that I had. And if I could do it with almost no dollar investment, and it was a matter of time, and my readers were asking me to do it, it seemed like a no-brainer. Yeah, this is great. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like the hardest part was just the learning curve of setting up how you were going to possibly do that? And now
I don't think
just
so.
Okay.
I think the hardest part for me was the mindset. The idea of, I don't like the sound of my own voice. I can't do accents. I'm going to sound awkward. No one actually wants to hear me. The typical, I'm not made for this. I just want to write books, was the hardest part to overcome. The setup, because I had, I found someone that could mentor me, and I basically was like, tell me what to buy. And they, I wasn't going to put time into trying to be my own expert. So that was actually pretty easy. The hard part was just working through that mindset. And I got through that by working with my coach. I was very clear with the coach. I was like, I'm having imposter syndrome. These are the things I'm saying. Can you help me work through this? And he was like, let's do it. He was all about it.
Yeah. I love that. And don't worry about the dog, because it's all good. But it's so funny. I didn't want to be my own expert and run into that. I love that just idea, because how many people in the author community have tried to figure out how to design their own covers. And look, some of them can figure it out, sure, but it's like they don't even get someone to help them figure it out. They're just like, I am going to learn Photoshop myself. I am going to learn this myself. I am going to do this myself. Self-publishing does not need to mean that you are Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. Self-publishing can get help. You're allowed, almost every author I know who is a success has gotten assistance. I think that it's strange to me in a way. I get it why people take these things on themselves, because they always have, and at least they can't let themselves down. But it's just, I love that you brought that up.
It was the fastest path to making it profitable and successful. And at the time, I was very interested in this not dragging down everything else. So yeah, I echo everything you say. Mindset is almost always the hardest part for me. But once you get through it, the world is open to you. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100% agreed. I love that. Awesome. We're going to have so many quotables, so many good quotables here, Katie. So definitely go check out Katie's books at katiecrossbooks.com. Go get all her books forever. That's, for her giving all the great advice she'll give over these 2 episodes. That's the payment, is just go get all of her books forever. So we had a question a couple weeks back, which was, what would your favorite, best 5-star review of your favorite book that you wrote say? Favorite. Kathy Swanson said, this book would be a great Hallmark movie. Snow Angels isn't just a sweet romance. It's in a rundown Chicago neighborhood, the Unity Plankis Community Center. Okay, this is more of a review, specific. But like any group of people, their humanity also included joy and plenty of laugh out loud moments. The romance was great, but the community made the story. I look forward to reading the rest of the series. I like that review, Kathy. Patrick O'Connor said, I got a review on a telecommunications textbook from the editor of Teleconnect magazine that it was the best book ever written on telecommunications management. Said, say telecommunications 3 more times. And then he showed his readers a sample chapter, and it was adopted by Harvard and Stanford for their classes. That's awesome, Patrick. And then Shayna Gorian said, I laughed, I cried, I can't wait to tell all of my friends.
Great, I like that one. That's a good one.
I like that one a lot. You've probably gotten some reviews, Katie, that you'd already say like, oh my gosh, this is my 6-star review. Like, do any of them that you recall stand out as like, oh yeah, this is the one at the pinnacle?
The pinnacle ones for me are the ones that say these books brought me back into reading. Like, I was in a reading slump. I tried this on a whim, and like, it changed my life, and I'm back into books and whatever else. I think those are the coolest. Any sincere, heartfelt review that made my reader feel and experience something is a 6-star review for me. Like, it's a win. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I have one review that I still love talking about for like my courses and whatnot. Someone saying, I was going to quit being an author, and then this course made me actually make money for the first time, and so I kept doing it. I'm like, that one's always gonna stick with me.
Always like hits you in the heart. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I need a few heart hits. Okay, so Katie, are you ready for the story of the week?
Ready. Let's hear it.
All right, awesome. Impactful audio. An audiobook is not just another format, says Ngozi Edema on her Minute Mastery podcast. It is an opportunity to connect deeply with your audience, end quote. Edema recently interviewed author and audiobook producer Robert A. Lane on the benefits of recording your own audiobook. Quote, narrating your book is a great idea because it allows you to connect with your audience in a personal and engaging way, bringing your words to life with tone, emotion, and emphasis that might be lost on the page, says Lane. But only you can bring out these emotions, end quote. Authors of nonfiction, especially those who write memoir or self-help books, often find that their readers enjoy the feeling of authenticity that their voice brings to the book. Quote, listeners can hear the passion, emotion, and nuances of the author's voice, making the experience more impactful, Lane points out. While it's traditionally been more common for nonfiction authors to narrate their own books, some writers of fiction have started to record their books too. Stephen King has narrated several of his own books, both fiction and nonfiction, as have authors Julia Whelan, who narrated her book My Oxford Year and her other romances, Ray Bradbury, who narrated Fahrenheit 451 and the Martian Chronicles, and Douglas Adams, who narrated all of his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy audiobooks. Author Katie Cross takes things even further, recording each of her own audiobooks, yeah, Katie, and releasing them the same day her book launches If you're an author looking to connect more deeply with your readers, consider taking control of your audiobook experience. Quote, "Your voice is unique," says Lane, "and no one can tell your story better than you." Katie, this is the perfect story for you. You're right.
It is the perfect story.
We should have done it in episode 1 11 years ago. You weren't doing this 11 years ago. But I think that in the age of AI audio, this is a nice antidote where it takes it. People are looking for a cheap way to do things. This is a cheaper way to do things, but it's more human rather than just going with, let's have the magic button take care of this. The magic button that doesn't do as well as a human.
Right.
So what did you think about when you heard this story?
What I love is that she calls out that really for a long time it was standard for nonfiction authors to narrate their own book because whether it's memoir or their business setup or whatever else it is, it felt, like a little more connected to them because nonfiction often then take their like book audience or their existing audience into courses or other things, right? So it makes sense to be the face to that. But I love that she's calling out that the same can be true of fiction. And in fact, I convert readers who never listen to audiobooks into being audiobook listeners because I'm the one doing it. So when she talks about that like deepening experience, the passion, emotion, and nuances of the author voice that she speaks about, I like experience the benefits of that every single day when I hear from my listeners that love me bringing the characters to life because it's in my head. Like I know how to present the characters, which makes it really fun to actually then present the characters.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I don't write fiction anymore. I used to. I definitely had in my head what everybody sounded like. And that would have been a lot of fun to do. My one experience that's similar to this, though, is I recorded the audiobook for my self-publishing with Amazon ads book that is half story. And so I did have a voice that I came up with for the amalgamation of all my coaching students ever, Erica.
That's awesome.
And myself, of course. And so I was having those kind of conversations. But I experience it very regularly when I talk to people who listen to my podcast or listen to the courses. They feel like they know me. And imagine that connection with your fiction readers. You get to experience that on the regular.
Yes, absolutely. It's wonderful. It's more like you're going through the experience of the book together. So they see you more as the guide into this new world that you're taking them into. And then when you communicate with them outside of that, you're like a familiar known guide to them. And they just default to you. Like you become the comfort listen because they know you as the author, but they know you as the narrator. So it really brings the experience to life in a whole new way.
I love that. Let's go into these hot potato wisdom questions. I'm sure you get this a lot, Katie. Do you have any advice for authors? Let's say first step kind of advice for authors who are wanting to record their own audiobooks.
I would advise you to go to like Udemy and find like a self-narration course and just kind of cruise through it and see if the setup, like the learning process is something that maybe it doesn't quite excite you, but you're like, yeah, I could do that to get to the end state and see what it involves. And then kind of gauge your feelings from there. Or if you don't want to do that, find a narrator or a coach or someone that you can have a one-on-one discussion with and just say, these are my fears, these are my goals. What do you think about it? And actually talk to like a professional before you make your decision. Because if you're on the fence, I think it would help sway you to whatever is best for you.
Yeah, I like that. And not being in your own thought spiral and actually talking to another person seems like always a good idea.
Well, the power of like taking it out of your brain and putting it into words, you actually then recognize, oh, I didn't realize I was thinking about that, or that's more powerful than I thought it was. Like that's actually a bigger fear than I thought it was because it was in my head. And you just, I don't know, you get it out of the corners and you put it in the light and it gets smaller. And doesn't seem like that big a deal, I think.
Well said. It's like you're an author who speaks your thoughts out loud all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I love it. You've got a question for me.
Yes. When does it make sense to add audiobooks to your formats?
So I think that if you are considering the idea of producing the audiobooks yourself, I think it can really be anytime if you want to go in this direction. But what I have found, and you have to, context is everything, right? Katie sold a lot of ebooks and a lot of paperbacks prior to doing her own audiobooks. So there is some thought of, well, you could do an audiobook of any book, but you have to keep in the context Katie had a lot of fans first. And I think that you don't necessarily want to invest all the time in the world or all the money in the world until you have at least a little bit of proof that people actually want to be a part of this world. And so it is helpful to not just assume, oh, an audiobook will make me sell 20 or 50 or 100% more. That is not necessarily the case if you're only selling 10 copies of that book a month or less. It is likely that you are going to need to keep working on crafting the idea, the world, the story universe that readers are obsessed with. Audio makes more sense after that.
That's such great advice. 2, it also gives people that are just starting out the permission to just get products out, just get books out, gauge their response. Don't worry about audio yet, because it's a lot to take on, whether you're paying someone or you're doing it yourself. And it allows you to be flexible to your market and take in data and lessen what's on your plate as a learner. I think that's such phenomenal advice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. I need some ego boosts today. I'll absolutely take it. I think it's time for the lightning round, which means, Katie, everybody's favorite moment on the show.
This is my favorite moment. I'm so excited.
Okay, good. Lightning round. Over to you. Oh, that was good. I like how it trailed. Like it just trailed off, like it was echoing through the forests.
My favorite part of the lightning round is the compliment that you give whatever sound came.
I knew it. I knew someone liked that.
What's he going to say about this one?
I know. Number 1, strategic. Number 2, positivity. I'm always strategizing about how to be positive. So, Katie, how do you keep your publishing schedule on track?
I just systemize everything. So for 2 years, I did a book a month. And that so the first Friday of every month, I launched an ebook, paperback, and audio. I don't have that now. That was 2 years. I've spaced out my launches. We're doing about 5 a year instead of like 12, which is still ridiculous, right? But the way I kept that publishing schedule on track was just knowing exactly what went where and then staying to a loose schedule. So for example, the first week of the month would be like plotting, drafting, and getting ready. The second week was first drafting. The third week was second and third drafting. The fourth week was recording the prior month's book. And then we go back into like the first week, which is drafting, plotting, catching up on business tasks, etc. So I could be at the end of the third week and say, oof, I'm behind on the third draft. It'll be a couple more days. So that means I'll have to record longer days next week in order to have the recording done by the end of the week to go to edits. So I could just look at it big picture overall and take it day by day. And then I just worked like 8 hours a day, like recording or writing.
Yeah, like a real job.
It was, that's how I looked at it. So I was a nurse before I did this. And I remember thinking, I used to work 12 hours and I didn't get worse as a nurse. I hear a lot of people be like, oh, if I wrote all day, my writing would suck. And I remember thinking, but I didn't suck as a nurse when I wrote, when I was like 12 hours at work or 18 hours.
Yeah.
So I just challenged that mindset and I look at it as I have 8 hours with my books ahead of me. And that's what I do.
I love that. And I love just in general the concept of challenging your mindset versus what most people do is say, well, this is who I am. I am a, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But challenging that concept, challenging your identity is an important prerequisite to success.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All
So
right.
my
Your
question for
question to
you.
me. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Um oh, sorry, here we go. What is the first step to getting a packed publishing schedule to work?
I think that people overlook this. I was just talking on a podcast the other day and it's just like, well, of all the marketing things, of all the things you have to do, what do you need to do? And I said, writing routine. And I think that writing is marketing. Marketing is writing. You need to have products. You need to be putting them out. And there is no marketing solution that is going to fix a book that isn't quite there, that isn't quite packaged correctly. And so getting into the routine of I write this amount per day, I produce this number of books per year, and then trying to get more efficient, just like what you talked about, Katie, with systematizing, getting that system set up so that when there are things out of town, when there are vacations, when there are things, you take those things into account. You have all of that kind of prepared and in mind when you are creating this career for yourself. If you get that routine in first, it is going to make a packed publishing schedule more doable.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Katie, your Katie Cons seem popular with readers. I saw you had it on the banner at the top of your page on katiecrossbooks.com. How do your Katie Cons help build your author business?
Yeah, so Katie Cons are when I go somewhere, people can pay 50, $100, whatever it is for that one, and we all go to dinner together. And then I pay for dinner and it's just their time. Like we just get to talk about whatever they want. And I do that either around cons, like I have Katie Con in Atlanta around Dragon Con, or I was just visiting my mom in Idaho, so I did a Katie Con there. And it's just the deepening of relationships and visibility to these readers, right? I get to see them face to face. We eat together. We get, they bring their books and I sign them. Sometimes I have t-shirts made or swag that I give them and they go out in the world and wear it. But more deeper than that, it's my opportunity to really like get to know them and why the books are helpful and why they're willing to pay to come eat with me and talk to me. Because so many of these people are introverts and they get there and they're like, don't know anyone else and they're a little nervous. And, like I set them at ease right away. We introduce everybody. How did they find my books? So they can meet other people. But then I get to really know, like, what can I do more of to serve you? And sometimes I ask them, like, what can I do that would just make you so happy? Like, what do you want to see more of? So it just helps me serve them. And then I get to meet them. And that's like the penultimate reason I'm here is to meet these people that love my books.
That's awesome. I love that. I mean, you are giving them an opportunity even beyond just hearing your voice on the audio to see your face. And that is just going to lock them in even more to be a lifetime Katie Cross fan.
For sure. So my question for you, Bryan, is it ever too early to start trying to promote yourself and make your brand bigger?
So many authors do the opposite of what you do, Katie. They're always looking to make themselves smaller. They say, well, people don't want to hear from me, so I'm going to email less. People don't want to hear about my book, so I'm going to post about it less. People don't want to see me, so I'm just going to like put this out into the world. And then, they think of it like, well, maybe I'll just run ads and then I'm not bothering anybody because it's where people are posting anyway. And I'm an ad person, but I do not think that is the right thing to do. Like, we have you here on the show. We've had Willow Winters on the show. We've had all these folks who they do not try to be small. They try to be big because if they're bigger, they can be seen by more people and they can reach more people.
Yeah.
And I think that even early in your career, getting comfortable with the idea of taking up more space in the world is a good habit to solidify early. And so I don't think there's ever a too early to take up more space so that more readers can see you.
What do you think the fear is behind that? Like, why do you think people feel like they're bothering others putting their book out there?
Upbringing.
That was instant.
Almost all of it, I think, is upbringing in society of
Okay.
just like your parents or your school or your whatever said like you're bugging people, so stop.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
so a lot of people, I think a lot more of it's probably at the home, and now a bunch of people are going to go
Yeah.
talk to their therapist about the latest episode
Good.
of Sell More Book Show.
Good.
But for truly, it's just like there's upbringing, and then there are some certainly personality types that just feel like they're bothering people, and they don't want to, they think that taking up space and commanding respect is bothering people as a personality type. And so like our Enneagram 2s, our helpers, our Enneagram 9s, our peacemakers, like even to a certain extent, our Enneagram 6s who like feel like there could be a mistake that they need to go find. And so they don't want to bug people with their work. Like there are definitely personality types that run into the trouble of conflating taking up space with inconveniencing someone else.
I want to say this to the people who are like feeling the depth of this, because I do remember a time early in my career when I said to a coach, I said, I felt like I actually was saving lives as a nurse. Like when I worked as a cardiac and a pediatric nurse, I would end the day like having pumped the chest of a 2-year-old and brought her back or whatever else I did. And I remember saying to my coach, like, I'm just living in fairy tale land. Like I'm just writing stories. I'm not doing things for the world. Like I don't command respect as an author. And that was really hard for me coming from saving lives to a creative pursuit, right?
Yeah.
And she said to me, you really think no one, well, first of all, she challenged me on needing others to respect me, but also she goes, weren't you like that lonely kid reading books that needed the escape? And I was like, well, yeah. So she had me imagine my life without the books. And after that conversation, I was able to understand that I'm serving people by showing up in big energy. And I'm honed in and focused on making the world a better place through my books. So the louder I can speak, the more people I can bring into these books, give them the courage to go back to their daily life. I am doing like my life's purpose that way. And for me, that was the swapping point when the fear of being big like went away. And I actually looked for ways to make my voice known because the purpose was to spread goodness and courage again. So hopefully that's helpful.
I find it helpful. I'm sure other listeners will find it helpful as well. I think that everybody needs one of those moments where the thing that is so obviously holding them back, it needs to be, as you mentioned earlier, held up to the light and shown that it is a lot smaller than they think it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last question of the lightning round.
Dun.
How has your marketing changed as you've put out more and more and more? I have no idea how many books you have now, Katie. As many books as you have, how has your marketing changed?
Oh, I think I lost you for a sec, Bryan.
We had a little bit of a freeze moment for a
There we
second
go.
here,
You're
but
back
now
now.
we're back. It
Now
could have
we're
been,
back.
it was likely me. How has your marketing changed as you've put out more and more books?
The funny thing about this is it became less like throw something out and see what works and move quickly. Like I would try something, move fast, and I would just hit what works right away. And that's a great strategy and it worked for that time. But what I've moved into, especially as I have a bigger catalog and my kids are 7 and 10, and my priority is to have an awesome life with my kids first and then like be a cool author. So in putting my kids as priority and my life with them, I have really leaned into sustainable, doesn't take a lot of time, but like yields good results. So I want something that I can wake up for 1 hour, take care of my marketing. I look at my ads, I look at my data, I pivot based on data, I put up whatever posts I'm doing, I look at the data from the previous day, make my decisions, and my marketing brain is shut off. And I go into writing, do it, shut it off, and then I belong to my life for the rest of the day. And I think that consistency, while it hasn't always yielded some of the big results of flying really fast through different things, has been enabling the life that I want to live, which is writing awesome books, seeing books go into the world, but really like running in the mountains and playing with my kids. And that was not how I thought about it before. But this feels so much more sustainable until my kids move out, and then it will probably change again.
Right. Yeah. No, the important thing is you identified that life is about more than work. And then you said, great, well, there's going to be this separation between getting the work done
Yeah.
and then hanging with my kids. And I do think a lot of people who find some success put out a lot of books. They maybe lose track of that and how life can be about more than one thing.
Exactly.
So, oh man, we've talked about so many things, so many big topics, and now we need a question of the week. Katie, of all the things we discussed, audiobook and otherwise, does anything stand out as something you want to make sure we ask to our listeners today?
I would love to hear what your listeners think about narrating their own audiobooks. If, like, as we talked about that, what were the first either fears or excitement that came to your mind?
I love that. What are the fears and excitements? Okay, say excitements that come to mind when thinking about narrating your own audiobook? Love it. Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can answer the question of the week, everybody, at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or sellmorebookshow.com. Katie Cross's books can be found at katiecrossbooks.com. Katie, thank you for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. This was so fun.
Yay, good. And so you'll be back next week.
Yay!
So it'll be great. But go definitely check out Katie's books. We'll be back next week for another episode. For Katie, I'm Bryan. Have a great week of book selling, everybody. And we'll talk to you next week for episode 592. Bye.
Bye.